Baby Driver. So Baby Driver is another film written and directed by Edgar Wright. This film centers around the character Baby, an amazing driver played by Ansel, handsome Elgort. He's a teenager who as a kid was in a horrible car accident, leaving a constant ringing in his ear. And because of this constant ring, he's always listening to music to drown out that ring. However, aside from that handicap, he is an amazing driver, leading him to meet some of the wrong people in his life. Along the way, we see Baby get a little too involved over his head and wanting to get out of this criminal lifestyle. But as we all know, getting out of the criminal lifestyle is never something easy to do, and that's all I'll pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. I'm just going to tell you what I like about the film, what I didn't like, hit you with a rating system just like this one, breaking down the elements of the film and giving you a final ranking. Now, Edgar Wright is one of the best directors working in the business right now. Edgar Wright is very notable in his directing techniques, the way he handles action, the way he does comedy on screen, and not only that, but his interpretation of music within the film, because he is the type of director like Quentin Tarantino that likes to use a soundtrack more than a score, and very few directors can pull that off in a good way. As of this far, of all the films Edgar Wright has made, there is not one bad one in the bunch, and Baby Driver is just another great film of his. Starting off with the positive of the film, you have Ansel Gretel, your star, playing Baby. He's a very likable, charming, sort of a free spirit. The best way I can describe this guy is if Kevin Bacon from Footloose and Vin Diesel had a baby, it would be Baby. Aside though from Ansel being the good star, the big standouts in the film are Jamie Foxx and Jon Hamm. Now, Jamie Foxx plays this sort of asshole, badass criminal in the film who messes up every single job. He likes to do things his way and is very stubborn, but very creepy and threatening. He was almost like the wild card where you never knew what he was going to do on screen, and even though you were annoyed with his character, it was done on purpose because he is the villain. And Jon Hamm, on the other hand, he plays that sort of good guy, bad guy, where yeah, he's a criminal, but he's kind of cool, suave, and understands what he's doing and kind of cares for you. And for further things I don't want to spoil, his character just kept getting better and better and better. Another character in the movie that isn't an actual character is the music going on in this movie. The music and the soundtrack and the choices of play were done unbelievably well. Some of the best I've ever seen in a film. Now, Edgar Wright is known for being able to blend the music with the action scene or whatever is going on screen, and that is done so perfectly, so well in this film, and if you're not paying attention to it, it'll just go over your head because it blends so perfectly with the action scenes, with the comedic timing. When you're watching this film and you hear a song come on, listen to how the beats and the music match with the bullets, the action, the cars. Really well done, and just makes the film that much more fun to watch. Film is also funny, has little bits of comedy here and there. While I wouldn't say it's a huge comedy, I would say it leans more towards the action and drama a bit. The comedy does lighten up the mood a little bit throughout the film. And Edgar Wright's form of comedy is always quality comedy, so it's nice to have that in the film spread throughout. And last big positive I'm going to give the film is it does have a couple of twists and turns. Not like shocking twists, but things that you don't expect, that surprise you, where you'll literally say, I did not see that coming. And I literally said that as I was watching this movie. Because I will admit, somewhere along the middle of the movie, it was getting very generic, very basic, and I was thinking to myself, this does not feel like an Edgar Wright film. But then the third act comes along and everything is flipped around, it's different, it's not what you were expecting at all. It's just that sort of taste that Edgar Wright does in his films that make you keep watching, make you interested in what's going on the screen. Overall, very happy with the way Baby Driver turned out. Another great success for Edgar Wright. While it isn't his best film done, it is still a good addition to his collection of best films. However, there were a few things that caught me off guard in the film that I didn't like, leading me into some of the negatives. One of the biggest negatives I have with the film is there are some character changes, meaning a character will be one way at the beginning and then by the end of the film it's completely switched. I don't want to give away which characters are doing what, but it'll become apparent when you watch the film. Now, there's one character who changes completely that sort of becomes the villain of the film. I'm not going to say who it is, but his action is completely justified and it's not who I'm talking about. But there are other two people who have character changes that just came out of nowhere. There's one character in the film that does not want to kill, that does not like killing, that the sight of blood unevens that person, and then all of a sudden this person starts killing out of nowhere. And it's not even explained why this character had a sudden change in heart. And speaking of changes of heart, another person who was a villain throughout the whole film all of a sudden decides to be nice and care for this person. It was completely out of left field, wasn't justifiable, and took me out of the film just a little bit because it seemed like a cop-out and lazy writing, which is not something I expect at all from an Edgar Wright film. I know I'm not being specific enough, but I'm doing that on purpose not to spoil the film for you, but there are just a few character changes that are unjustifiable. And lastly, a personal negative, this is the least Edgar Wright feel type movie. What I mean by that is all his other films from Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, and even Scott Pilgrim had a very distinct Edgar Wright feel to them. While the music elements in this film were done exactly what I would expect effect from Edgar Wright, everything else wasn't really present in what I would expect in an Edgar Wright movie. It feels like his techniques and methods were really watered down in this film, and it sort of sucked for me because that's what I really liked in an Edgar Wright movie. Overall, those negatives are nothing to take away, nothing that'll ruin your experience of the film, just little things that bothered me and that caught me going, Still, if I had to give it a 1 to 10 rating system, it would be a strong 9, but to give you a proper rating system. Alright, so for Edgar Wright's Baby Driver, I'm gonna give action 4 stars. The car chase scenes in this film are amazingly done. They are not done by special effects or anything. I'm pretty sure they hired professional drivers to do all this work, and while it's nothing like a Fast and the Furious movie, it's very realistic and really nicely done and fun to follow. Comedy in the film, I am gonna give 3 stars. There were a lot of funny moments, but not too many funny moments. I wouldn't categorize this as a comedy just of yet. I would say it'd stick more to the action / drama. Drama in the film, I am gonna give 3.5 stars. It was a very compelling story. It had me interested the whole time. While it did get a little generic in the middle of the film, by the end it really boosted up and I did not see where the plot was going. Or in the film, I'm gonna give half a star just because, like I said, there are a few little blood scenes and one awesome death in this film. Suspense in the film is gonna get 4 stars because there were moments where my stomach was churning, wondering what Jamie Foxx character was gonna do, what happened to a certain character. Suspense in the film was well built up and it paid off towards the end. Casual fan, I'm gonna give an A+, cinephile, I'm gonna give an A-, and critically, I'm gonna give it a B-. In the end, Baby Driver is a film you'll want to add to your collection at home. So that's just my opinion on Baby Driver, guys. Let me know what you thought of the film if you got around to see it. What are you most excited about? And if you have any questions about the film, I'd be more than happy to answer them in the comments section. It doesn't come out for 2 months, so please feel free to ask anything. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.